Hey guys, it's Woody the Unexceptional Gamer, and this is Mail Monday. Wait till you hear the first question. Sit down, buckle in, here we go. Dear Woody, I'm a longtime subscriber and a huge PKA fan. I'm 22 years old, and about 5 months ago I received a settlement check for $24,000 for a car accident I was in a few years back. Prior to getting this check, I occasionally used prescription painkillers, more specifically 30 milligram oxycodone pills with the street name of Perk 30s or Blues. I wanted to use them more because I liked them so much, but I couldn't afford them. Well, once I got my check, I went crazy, and with them sometimes I'd do 10 times a day, which cost $300. I had a few friends around the time who did heroin. They told me that it was the same as Perks, but cheaper, and I didn't want to make the switch for moral reasons, as weird as that sounds, like what I was doing was alright or something. I was having an awesome time with my life, and living like money didn't matter, and partying hard every day. I bought myself a new TV, a computer, a second Xbox, just so my friends and I could play together at my house without split screen. Well, before you know it, I'm full-blown addicted to these pills, I have horrible withdrawals without them, and I'm down to $5,000 3 months after getting the check. So, in 3 months, he spent 19 grand on pretty much drugs. So I made the switch to heroin just because it was cheaper, and I could get high longer, because all I cared about at this point was getting high. I've never injected, but I snort and smoke as much as I can get every day, and at this point I have no money, and I sold everything except my computer, TV, and Xbox. 5 hours ago, my friends who don't use drugs gave me an intervention and I lost it. I'm still crying from the things they told me. They gave me the decision of doing drugs or being friends. These are friends of 10 years. This is where I need your help. I'm so embarrassed with myself, I don't know if I can tell my parents. I hide it well. They think I still have all the money. I've never used drugs other than smoking weed. I live with them. I don't know if I should buy the drug. He misspells it here. I think it's Suboxone. And I try to get myself off or tell them and have them help me get into a detox program. I'm so ashamed of what I've done, and I don't know what to do. The sad part is I'm so mentally addicted, I don't even know if I want to stop with the threat of losing my best friends. Please, tell me what to do. Share my story and let kids know how horrible this drug is and how fast it can ruin your life. Just about a year ago, I was in the best shape of my life training for a Spartan race. I could do 25 pull-ups in a row like it was nothing, and I could run 5 miles without being winded. Now I smoke so much dope, and I get winded rolling out of bed. Any advice that you could give me would be great. I actually had a dream I wrote you and you answered a few days ago, which gave me the idea to actually write you now. There's so much more to this story of hardships I've gone through just to get the drug, the hard nights of not having it. I could probably write a book. Since this letter's so long, feel free to paraphrase it if you do answer it on Mail Monday. I really hope you do think this and give me more incentive to quit. Anyway, I'm high as fuck right now. I don't know, I just thought I'd throw it in. Love your videos. Fuck Kyle. I have spent all night long reading about how to quit heroin. I've been digging into the pros and cons of methadone versus Suboxone. I've been reading about detox. I've been reading about the emotional side of it. If there's one thing I learned in this reading, it's that it's freaking difficult. It's not going to come easily to you. My favorite website, I'll share it with you. It was howtoquitheroin.com. Sounds easy enough, right? It's good. There are people there who have obviously been through this, right? There are people there who are experts on the subject and not just from an academic sense. They know the whole scoop, and you should read it. Here's what I expect. I expect as you're doing it, there's going to be a point where you say, you know what? Fuck it. Quitting heroin's hard. Don't do that. Keep reading. Keep reading. Think about like what you can be and how it's not over yet. Think about that side of it. Think about, the Spartan version of you that could do 25 pull-ups and how you're really just 22 freaking years old and you can have that back. Your life's not done yet. Your life is just getting started. Trust me, I'm old. I know when lies begin. You are a baby. God. It sounded like things were so much better just a year ago. It sounded like this $24,000 you got was such a curse. Yeah. Oh, by the way, first step in this thing, come clean. That's the first thing you got to do. You're talking about buying, methadone or Suboxone and not telling your family. No, dude, that's not how we begin this. The first step on this thing is coming clean and telling your family where you are and what's happened to you. Oh, yeah. And if you're watching this and you're not him, the first step in this thing is not starting heroin. I've read a lot about heroin. I used to do this series on what drugs are really like, and heroin was one of them. And it's interesting how seductive it is. Like all these really bad drugs, like cocaine and heroin and such, you take them and you're like, man, this isn't like everybody said it is. I didn't go crazy on this. I thought it was actually kind of a good night. It just made me chill. It just made me happy. Like, they acted like my life was going to collapse from this crazy drug, and it didn't. My life isn't collapsed. It's just aided by the benefit of some pretty nifty stuff. No, dude, that's exactly how the hardcore stuff starts. Like, it seems so nice and warm and comforting at first, and you don't know what's on its way. You don't understand the dependency that's going to overwhelm you like it overwhelmed this guy. But back to the gentleman at hand here. Come clean. If you can go to detox, that looks like my favorite option. You can get some real experts in there on your side. But step one, talk to your parents and build a plan. What's cool is it sounds like you're a guy who's worth saving. You've got a friend system where for 10 years you've been hanging out with the same people and they care about you enough to do an intervention. It sounds like your parents, at least you seem to think that they'd be down for sending you to detox. Come clean and, get going on this thing. I think that, that next year this can just be an ugly chapter in your life instead of what it is now, which is a horrible reality from a couple of bad decisions. Unlike most of your subs, I'm a little bit older at 27 years of age. I did the typical thing like any 18-year-old do, and I went to university for a few years, but I bombed out. I skipped classes, I missed assignments, I missed exams. It's a dark part of my past that I haven't shared with my family. They just assumed it wasn't for me, and I wasn't happy going to school. I jumped around from job to job until I got my current job as a table games dealer at a casino. The job's alright, but I see people throw away their lives on a daily basis, be it players or other staff that I work with, and that brings us to today. I'm enrolled at another university in the city I live in. The casino I work for will pay half of my tuition and books, and I'm thankful for that. I was hoping to get some advice from you. I'm scared to go back to school, as I would say I failed miserably the last time, and high school wasn't a lot better than that university. I want to make sure I get it right this time around. I never developed good study habits, so I was hoping to get some pointers there as well. Thanks for taking the time to read my letter, and keep up the good work on YouTube. People like this guy get me excited about life. If you've watched a lot of my Mail Mondays, you've heard me say before that life is long. And I don't know if that translates like I wish it did. I don't know if people really get that. There are so many people who think that their lives are done. There are so many people who say I failed out of school, therefore I'm a dropout. That's my role in life. I am the guy that dropped out. Or people who say, I've been typecast here and therefore that is my type and there's nothing I can do about it. But this guy, at 27 years old, decides he wants to be a college grad. And I'm telling you, you can do it. I did it too. For people that don't know, I went to school and my road was rocky, but in a nutshell, I did well at first, and then I did kind of poorly after I got thrown out of the dorms. And my GPA wasn't high enough to get in my major, so I changed schools and I went to night school, like this guy is doing. I had, I guess, a slip, in my university education, and I changed schools and went to night school forever. Because you go to school during the night and you work during the day, you advance a little slower, and I think all in all it took me like 10 years to get my 2 undergrad degrees, my 2 college degrees, and then I spent another, I think 3 maybe, getting my master's degree. The thing is, if you're disciplined about this, You can do it. That's the hardest part about the way that you're doing this. You know, when you're a student and you're living on campus and everybody is doing the sort of right thing, it's easy for you to do the right thing. When you're an adult, you know, like teachers have no understanding that you have free time. You can't watch a movie without knowing that you really should be working on that paper instead. And that is going to be your lifestyle for some time now. Having tasted the sweet success that is just a 40-hour work week or 35-hour work week or whatever it is that you do now, you're going to find that plus school is a lot more work than you're used to. But be proud of you. That was my big thing. Like, I was always so proud of myself for going to school, for getting a degree, for degrees. That's what kept me going. And because everybody knew I was doing it, the fear of public failure was another thing that kept me going. I certainly didn't want to be that guy who started something that he didn't finish. That's my advice to you, you know? Tell people, put yourself on the spot, and be proud of you, proud enough that it motivates you to be the guy that you aspire to be. Life is long. Just because you failed out the first time doesn't mean that you can't be an attorney, a doctor, or anything that you want to be. If you've made it this far, perhaps I've earned your like, or click subscribe in the top right corner where it says subscribe, you know, right there.